Hello students, how are you? So, in the previous video of the chapter respiration in organisms, we were discussing about the respiration in plants. Okay, that was the last topic of our chapter. So, in today's video, we will be discussing what you have learnt and some keywords and then the exercise of this chapter. Okay, so let's start with the keywords. First one is the aerobic respiration. You all know aerobic respiration is the respiration which occurs in the presence of oxygen. Second one, anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is the respiration which occurs in the absence of oxygen. There are other more differences, like aerobic respiration, there is the amount of energy that is released is more, whereas in anaerobic respiration the amount of energy that is released is less. Okay. So, these are the quite of few differences between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Examples: aerobic respiration occurs in mostly plants, animals, okay, and anaerobic respiration, for example, yeast. Then the next keyword is the breathing rate. What is breathing rate? It is the rate at which we inhale or exhale the air. Okay, at what is the time means, like in particular minute means in a minute how many times we breathe in or breathe out air, that is the breathing rate. Next keyword is the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration, the respiration occurring at the cell level. Okay, we discussed when the oxygen reaches to the cell, what happens there? The food is already present and the food means it is in the form of glucose. So, the glucose in the presence of oxygen breaks down to form carbon dioxide, water plus energy. Okay. So, it was the reaction that we discussed when we were discussing about the cellular respiration. Next keyword is the diaphragm. What is diaphragm? It is the organ located just below the lungs, and due to its contraction and relaxation we can easily breathe in and breathe out. Okay. It was a very important organ. We have discussed its movement during the breathing in and breathing out and during the normal breathing. Okay. Next one, next keyword is the exhalation. Exhalation is the air that we breathe out. That process is known as exhalation, and the important part of that is that it is rich in carbon dioxide. That air has more amount of carbon dioxide in it. Gills. Gills are the respiratory organs which are present in the organism that are present underwater. Okay, when we are discussing that how do the organism breathe when they live underwater, or the underwater organism, how do they breathe? They breathe with the help of gills. These are comb like structure which help to exchange of water and oxygen from water. Then lungs. We all know these are the lungs that help us to breathe, like for animals, many animals they are present are lungs, crocodile, human beings, okay, which help us to breathe in and breathe out. Also the exchange, lungs also helps in the exchange of oxygen with the blood, because if oxygen will not reach to the blood, then the cell cannot work. Next keyword is inhalation. Inhalation, it is the opposite of exhalation. So, it means breathing in of air, and if we are breathing in, that air is rich in oxygen. Okay. Spiracles and trachea, we discussed it in the breathing in cockroaches. Okay. Spiracles are, these are the small holes present in the sidewise of the body through which the air enters. Okay. And the ribs, ribs they help us to protect the lungs. They are the protective covering of the lungs, or we can say that lungs are present inside the rib cage. Okay. That name is given rib cage. Why it is given rib cage? Because this forms a cage like structure around the lungs. Clear, students? So, these were the some keywords of this chapter. Next is what you have learnt. Let us discuss these points. First one, respiration is essential for survival of living organisms. It releases energy from the food. And we know that we have also studied the equation related to that, that when the glucose reacts with the oxygen, it releases carbon dioxide, water plus a lot of amount of energy. Second, the oxygen we inhale is used to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water. Energy is released in the process. Okay, the oxygen that we inhale is used to break down the food particles, basically the glucose, into carbon dioxide and water, and plus energy is released in the process. Third, The breakdown of glucose occurs in the cell of an organism. That's why it is known as cellular respiration. Okay, I told you what is cellular respiration. The respiration, the process occurring at the cellular level. So the breakdown of glucose occurs in the cells of an organism. This is known as cellular respiration. And if you know that, I also told you the difference between respiration and breathing. Okay, we are quite confused related to this, that what is breathing and respiration same? No, breathing is just taking in and out of the air, whereas respiration is the breakdown of the food with the help of that oxygen that we have inhaled. Okay. So the breakdown of glucose occurs in the cells of an organism, that is cellular respiration. Fourth point, if the food is broken down with the use of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration, and if the breakdown occurs without the use of oxygen, the respiration is called anaerobic respiration. We have discussed this also. During heavy exercise, when the supply of oxygen to our muscle cells is insufficient, food breaks down is by anaerobic respiration. Okay. At what time? When we do heavy exercise, running, jogging, or you can say weightlifting, etc., etc. When the supply of oxygen to our muscle cells is insufficient, okay, not proper, then food break down by anaerobic respiration. Breathing is the part of the process of respiration during which an organism takes in the oxygen rich air and gives out air rich in carbon dioxide. The respiratory organs for the exchange of gases vary in different organisms. Okay. So it is a part of process of respiration. It is a part only, breathing. Now you can see the difference, which an organism takes in oxygen rich air, that is inhalation, and gives out rich in carbon dioxide, the air rich in carbon dioxide, that is exhalation. Okay. And we all know that the respiratory organs for the exchange of gases vary in different organisms. During inhalation, our lungs expand and then come back to the original state as the air moves out during exhalation. See, because what happens during inhalation, the air comes in, so that will need some volume, it will occupy some volume. So to increase that volume, so that extra air can accumulate the volume, or to increase the volume, our lungs expand. Okay. But they come back to the original state as the air moves out during exhalation. Increased physical activity enhances the rate of breathing. We all know that. Now, in animals like cow, buffalo, dog, and cat, the respiratory organs and the process of breathing are similar to those in humans. So these are the certain organisms in which the respiratory organs and the process of breathing are similar to those in humans. Next, in earthworm, the exchange of gases occurs through the moist skin. In fishes, it takes place through gills, and in insects through the trachea. Okay. In earthworm, exchange of gases occurs through moist skin. Fishes, it takes place through gills, and in insects through trachea. In plant, the roots take in air present in the soil. Leaves have tiny pores called stomata through which they exchange gases. The breakdown of glucose in the plant cells is similar to that in other living beings. Okay. In a plant, the roots take in air present in the soil. The leaves have tiny pores called stomata through which they exchange gases. The breakdown of glucose in the plants is similar to that in other living organisms. Okay. So these are the points, or you can say the summary of the chapter. Okay, students, go through them again, and then we will move on to the exercise. Now let's move on to the exercise, students. The first question: why does an athlete breathe faster and deeper than usual after finishing the race? The answer: the athlete needs a lot of energy. The athlete needs a lot of energy during the race, and for energy the athlete requires more amount of oxygen, and for energy the athlete requires more amount of oxygen. So to compensate for the amount of oxygen, the athlete breathe faster and deeper than usual after finishing the race. So athlete breathe faster and deeper than usual after finishing the race. Next question: list the similarities and differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. The similarities, first one, the similarities, a point. First point: in both the respiration, the food is broken down. In both respiration, the food is broken down into simpler substances. In both the respiration, the food is broken down into simpler substances. Now differences. Okay. So for differences, two columns will be there: aerobic and anaerobic. In aerobic, first point takes place in the presence of oxygen. In aerobic, first point takes place in presence of oxygen. In anaerobic, first point takes place in the absence of oxygen. Takes place in the absence of oxygen. Second point: in the aerobic, large amount of energy is produced. Large amount of energy is produced. In anaerobic, second point, less amount of energy is produced as compared to aerobic respiration. Less amount of energy is produced as compared to aerobic respiration. Third point: in aerobic, end products are carbon dioxide and water. In aerobic, third point, end products are carbon dioxide and water. In anaerobic, third point, end products are carbon dioxide and alcohol. End products are carbon dioxide and alcohol. Fourth point: in the aerobic, it occurs in most of the plants and animals. It occurs in most of the plants and animals. In anaerobic, the fourth point, occurs in yeast and some bacteria. Occur in yeast and some bacteria. Okay. Now let's move on to the third question. Why do we often sneeze when we inhale a lot of dust laden air? Why do we often sneeze when we inhale a lot of dust laden air? Answer is, when we inhale a lot of dust laden air, it causes irritation in the nose. It causes irritation in the nose and the respiratory tract. It causes irritation in the nose and the respiratory tract. Full stop. To get rid of these dust particles, a reflexive action leads to sneezing. Reflexive action leads to sneezing, which throws these dust particles outside. Okay. Next question. Question number 4. Take 3 test tubes, fill 3/4 of each with water, label them A, B, and C. Keep a snail in test tube A, a water plant in test tube B, and in C keep snail and plants both. Which test tube would have the highest concentration of CO2? I hope you have understood the question. The question is saying that you have to take 3 test tubes, A, B, and C. You have to fill the water. You have to keep a snail in A, water plant in test tube B, and both in test tube C. Now, which test tube would have the highest concentration of CO2? The answer is test tube A will have highest concentration of CO2. Test tube A will have highest concentration of CO2 because test tube A has a snail, which expels out the carbon dioxide. Full stop. In test tube C, plant is also present with snail, so it consumes that CO2. Which is expelled by snail. So the amount of carbon dioxide in test tube C, in the test tube C decreases. Whereas in test tube B only water plant is present, so it will expel out oxygen. So it will have minimum amount of carbon dioxide in it. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Take the correct answers. First one. In cockroaches, air enters the body through lungs, gills, spiracles, or skin. In cockroaches, air enters the body through lungs, gills, spiracles, and skin. We have studied this. The correct answer is spiracles. Okay. Third option. B. During heavy exercise, we get cramps in the legs due to accumulation of carbon dioxide, lactic acid, alcohol, water. During heavy exercise, we get cramps in the legs due to the accumulation of carbon dioxide, lactic acid, alcohol, water. Answer will be lactic acid. C. Normal range of breathing rate per minute in an average adult person at rest is. Normal rate of breathing or normal range of breathing rate per minute in an average adult at rest means when he is not doing any exercise kind of stuff. Okay. First 9 to 12 rate per minute or breaths per minute, 15 to 18 breaths per minute, 21 to 24 breaths per minute, or 30 to 33 breaths per minute. The correct answer will be 15 to 18 breaths per minute. Second option. D. During exhalation, the ribs move outwards, move downwards, move upwards. Fourth, do not move at all. During exhalation, the ribs, correct answer is move downwards. Okay. Question number 6. Match the items in column 1 with those in column 2. Column 1, yeast, diaphragm, skin, leaves, fish, frog. And the column 2, earthworm, gills, alcohol, chest cavity, stomata, lungs and skin, trachea. Okay, let's discuss it. Yeast. So the correct matching with the yeast is alcohol, because of anaerobic respiration. Okay, so A will be matched with third, alcohol. Now B, diaphragm. Diaphragm will be matched with fourth, chest cavity, because it is present in the chest cavity. Okay. C, skin. Skin will be matched with first, earthworm, because earthworm respire with the help of skin. D, leaves. Leaves will be matched with fifth, stomata. Then E, fish. Fish will be matched with gills, second option, gills. And the last one, F, frog. Frog will be matched with sixth one, lungs and skin. Okay, so that's it completes the matching. Yeast with alcohol, diaphragm with chest cavity, skin with earthworm, leaves with stomata, fish with gills, frog with lungs and skin. Okay. Seventh question, mark true if the statement is true and F if it is false. First one, during heavy exercise the breathing rate of a person slows down. During a heavy exercise the breathing rate of a person slows down. It is false, because during the exercise the person breathes heavily and deeply. Okay. Second, plants carry out photosynthesis only during the day and respiration only at the night. It is also false. Third, frogs breathe through their skins as well as their lungs. True. Okay, when they are on land they breathe with the help of lungs, and when they are in water they breathe with the help of moist skin. The fishes have lungs for respiration. False. They have gills for respiration. Fifth, the size of chest cavity increases during inhalation. The size of chest cavity increases during inhalation. It is true. Okay. So eighth question, it is, you have to do it yourself. See what is the question is. Given below is a square of letters in which are hidden different words related to respiration. These words may be present in any direction, upward, downwards, or along the diagonals. Find the words for your respiratory system, and the clues are given below. So these are the clue. See students, we have discussed already all these clues we have discussed, and you can easily find out these. Okay, so you have to do this question on your own in the book itself. Question number 9th. The mountaineers carry oxygen with them because A, at an altitude of more than 5 km there is no air. B, the amount of air available to a person is less than that available on the ground. C, the temperature of air is higher than that on ground. D, the pressure of air is higher than that on the ground. So the question is asking the mountaineers carry oxygen with them because. Correct option is B, the amount of air available to a person is less than that available on the ground. Okay. So this concludes the exercise and also concludes the chapter respiration in organism. Now you have to complete the notes from the previous videos and the exercise from this video. Okay. In the next video we will be starting the new chapter. Okay students, till then take care of yourselves, stay inside your house and keep studying. Okay, and have a nice day. Thank you.